Hello and welcome back to the Heart of Amethyst. We'll be continuing where we left off with Rodrick. So, if I recall, all three routes, meaning Rodrick, Almond, and Ehlly, are sort of following the same day, but you're seeing different things based on what you choose to do that specific day. So, I don't quite remember... Oh yeah, with Rodrick, you spend the day training with him. With Ehlly, you went to the library, and with Almond, you went shopping, if I recall correctly. So, as I was doing with all the other ones, the other previous updates, I will be reading all three of them. So, yeah. So, right now, you're watching the Rodrick video, okay? Just so you know. Anywho, so, like I said, in the previous part, you saw Ehlly with Rodrick and basically training after, I believe, or before the ball. It's been a while, so I think it's been like a year, or a little less than a year, but yeah, it's been a while since I read the previous part, so yeah. Before that though, again, I may be misremembering this, and it was the ball where you got to meet one specific character per character. So for Rodrick, I believe it was a cardinal or something like that, who was blind, but like Rodrick wasn't a very big fan of. With Ehlly, it was like a relative that's like apparently way smarter than he is. And then with Almond, it was like another noble who apparently Almond had a history with, so yeah. Anywho, so, what else? I think that's it, pretty much. Yeah. Like I said, I don't really remember what happened, because it was a while, so, if there was anything that happened in the previous part, then hopefully you'll go back and look that up. Anywho, so without further ado, let us continue Rodrick's route. Master, are you sure that I can't do anything for you? The little dog trailed behind me as I walked around the castle halls. He tried to act tough and professional, but his face betrayed how worried that he was feeling inside. And to be honest, I can't blame him. After all, I would also be worried about the guy that woke up screaming in the middle of the night. I just wish that he hadn't seen that. Zach, I'm telling you, I'm fine. You don't have to worry about me. I've been having some night terrors lately. They'll go away. Eventually. Now that was just hopeful thinking, as I had no guarantee that these freaking nightmares would ever leave me alone. But I had to hold on to any hope that was left. But what if we consult with the royal healer? I once went there with this terrible stomachache and he healed me in no time. Really, Zach? You're comparing a stomachache with night terrors? Well, no. But it wouldn't hurt to try, right? Goddesses bless his soul. He is pushy. I sigh as I leaned on a nearby wall, trying to look anywhere but at Zach, as his sad puppy eyes were killing me. It's too early in the morning anyways. I bet the healer is not even up yet. Besides, I'll make an appointment then. Good idea, Master. Before I could say anything else, the smaller dog started sprinting to goddesses know where, leaving only dust behind. He's going to find someone, isn't he? Damn it, it's too damn early for this crap. I really don't know what he's hoping to accomplish. There's no cure for nightmares. You just endure them. Relaxing herbs? Really? That's all that he could come up with? Turns out that I was right. The royal healer was busy and didn't have an opening for a fox with nightmares. Still, the little dog searched high and low until he found this run-of-the-mill healer shop. which turned out to be just a crazy old man in healer robes that prescribed me freaking herbs. And I find that insulting, actually. I have bad dreams, not a stress problem. I don't need relaxing herbs. Master, it wouldn't hurt to try, right? Want me to make them into a nice tea? I look back at the puppy, whose eyes were growing bigger by the second. This whole thing really meant a lot to him, didn't it? So, even if I think that it's a stupid idea, perhaps I should oblige him for his sake. If I say yes, will you stop pushing me? Yes, absolutely, Master. Cross my heart and hope to die. Alright then, please take those back to the castle. I'll drink a cup each night as the healer suggested, and if it works, then great. But if it doesn't, at least we tried. Deal? To be honest, I'm almost certain that it's not going to make a difference, but it's worth it if it will make him feel better. Also, this whole predicament has made me wonder what my mom would do in a situation like this. She was such a wonderful healer. There was not a single person that came to see her which walked away dissatisfied. It was like she had this power that made people feel better even just by being close to her. Me included. Man, I really miss her. Anyway, Zach, if you're done worrying about me, I'm sure that you got a lot of stuff to take care of. I'll stick around this part and see if I can buy myself something nice. So unless you want to be my personal mule, you're free to go. Well, if you need me to stay... No, that was just a joke, buddy. I sighed at the dog's inability to understand sarcasm, then I placed my hand on his shoulder and smiled. I mean it. Don't let me keep you here. Go make yourself useful. He blushed at that, looking down to the ground as he avoided my gaze. Yes, Master. I will see you tonight then. Aha, see ya. The young dog bowed before turning around and walking down the street, back to the royal castle. I feel a little guilty for using his work as an excuse to force him to go back and leave me by myself. But he was being really pushy today, and I just want to relax. Talking about relaxing and seeing that I'm already here on Market Street, maybe I should check out some of these stores. I haven't had the chance to fully browse some of these. Although things up here are quite expensive and I wouldn't want to blow through my savings in a single day. So I shouldn't be too frivolous. With that in mind, where should I go first? So right here is where you will divert to one of the three people. This one is Rodrick. I believe this one is Ehlly, and this one would be Almond. So, to Rodrick we go. Honestly, I could go for a good piece of bread right now, or maybe even a sweet pastry. Man, I couldn't stop drooling just thinking about a delicious apple pie. Been craving one of those for ages. Besides, there's tons of fancy bakeries in the high city. So maybe they'll be able to surprise me with something that I've never seen. I'm getting excited just thinking about the different foods that I haven't tried yet. Like that labrum Ehlly bought for me. That was certainly something. So with apple pies and labrum dancing around in my head, I decide to get going. Wouldn't want to keep my stomach waiting for longer. I walked around the place with stars in my eyes. There were so many different types of pastries and they all looked simply delicious. It wasn't only their looks though, the smell that impregnated the street was heavenly. It's as if I had taken a trip to Candyland and this was its capital city. There were at least 20 different bakeries in this area, all of them filled to the top with baked goods, which were either inside of the shop itself or being proudly displayed at the front. I wandered from bakery to bakery, my eyes wide, my nose overwhelmed by the sweet and savory aromas swirling around in the air. Every shopfront was like a window into a world of culinary wonders. I was still unsure of where to start, as all of these establishments offered something different. But then one particular bakery caught my attention. Its sign painted in warm, inviting colors read, Lune et Bleu, and its display was nothing short of breathtaking. I could hardly keep my eyes away from the rows of perfectly baked pies sitting on the windowsill, their crusts latticed in intricate designs, the fillings bubbling just beneath the surface. My perfect apple pie, I said, drool coming out of my mouth as the baked goods called me to come closer, telling me to eat them. I felt my stomach rumble, reminding me of why I was here in the first place. So not wanting to delay this fateful meeting any longer, I stepped inside. I was greeted by the warmth of the ovens and the chatter of customers huddled around the tables. The baker was a tall black canine with flour dusting his apron, although the most curious thing about him were the yellow markings that decorated his fur. Those marks looked similar to mine, but in yellow. Something catches your eye? He asked me with a handsome smile, catching me red-handed looking at his marks. The man's black fur shimmered under the firelight like polished obsidian, which made my cheeks turn red like tomatoes. He was massive, not quite Rodrick's height, but close enough to make my heart skip a beat. Broad chest, thick arms, and a softness around the neck area that somehow made him even more appealing. He looked like someone who could lift me with one hand and knead dough with the other. Although right now, men were not the type of candy that I was looking for. So I took a step back from the counter and smiled at him nervously. Hi, I'm Ehlly. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Ehlly. I'm Dellinger. What can I do for you? Aside from his unique patterns, he also had a very strange name. This baker definitely piqued my interest. First things first, though. That apple pie? It's calling my name. The big canine chuckled as he placed a hand on his belly. You've got good taste. That one's one of our best sellers, freshly baked this morning. Well, I'll take a slice, please, I said, excitement bubbling up inside me, as if I were nothing but a kid in a candy store. Right away, Ehlly. The man stepped out from behind the counter and made his way to the display where the heavenly baked pie was placed. As he busied himself cutting into a generous portion, I couldn't help but glance around at the other pastries. Cream-filled eclairs, delicate croissants, and something that looked like a layered pastry glazed with honey and sprinkled with what appeared to be crusted nuts. Sorry, but what's that? I pointed at the pastry that I had never seen before. It honestly looked delicious, just like everything in the store. Ah, that is our almond honey labrum, my family's personal recipe. Really? I thought labrum was sprinkled with lemon, not honey and nuts. Well, you probably noticed, Ehlly, but I am not from around here, and we have a different recipe for labrum in my home village. So I decided to try my luck with this variation. And guess what? Clients loved it. Want one? That makes sense. Although now that I'm even more curious about this man's story, maybe I should ask him. I'll try to keep it casual though. We're just two guys having small talk after all. Yeah, sure. It looks really good. Great choice. Let me fetch you one. He turned around, moving towards the display where the labrum was being held in. I, on the other hand, just waited patiently for him to return. Here you go, dear client. A freshly baked pie and a delicious honey nut labrum. That will be 2 silver and 5 copper andras. Ah, yes, here you go. I grabbed my coin purse from my back pocket and paid him for the pastries with 3 silver andras. You can keep the change. Thank you so much, Ehlly. Please enjoy. As the canine turned around to get back to work, I coughed to get his attention. Smooth. Sir Dillinger, sorry to bother you, but you mentioned that you're not from here? Where are you from? Ah, don't worry about it, Ehlly. People ask me that all the time. I was born as a member of the Free Tribes, more specifically, Noka Altsinna, or as the other people know them, the Sons of the Forest. Noka Outchincha? Man, that's hard to pronounce even in my head. May I ask about those marks as well, Sir Jellinger? It's just, they are similar to mine, but not entirely. To be frank, Ehlly, I was completely thinking the same. That's why I believed you to be part of the tribe as well. Perhaps your parents? It could be. I hardly know anything about Mom and Dad's past. Maybe they were part of the Free Tribes before migrating to the forest inside the Canine territory. A familiar sense of sadness made my heart tremble as I remember Mom's warm smile and Dad's tight hugs. Well, since it seems like you're in the dark about this, let me explain. In the Free Tribes, when a kid is born, the Ilpan or Elder assigns to them a unique set of marks that represents that kid's connection with nature. Those marks are imprinted on the kid's fur, and by law, every member of the tribes must carry them until the day they die. No two set are the same. Some are thin and winding like river paths, others sharp like mountain ridges, and a few even swirl like desert storms. Each one tells a story, not just of where that kid comes from, but of what the spirits whispered on the day of their birth. To alter or hide your marks is considered a crime. It's like rejecting your ancestors, your land, your very spirit. Of course, they wash away with time, so every month or so, the members of the tribe must ask the Ilpam to renew their marks. That's so amazing. It's like carrying a piece of your culture with you all the time. So you go back to your tribe ever so often to renew them? Oh, not at all. I would be killed as soon as I set foot back on my land. The Free Tribes don't like Megashan. A friend of mine gets these done for me. It's the least that I could do to honor the spirits. There were a bunch of other things that I wanted to ask him about, but seeing how sad his smile was, I decided to stop. It was probably too personal anyway, so I doubt that he would tell a stranger about it. Moreover, his marks were nothing like mine. For starters, mine are not made of ink, and secondly, I never had to renew them. I see. Thanks for answering. Not a problem, Auka. Anything else you need? No, thank you so much for your time and the pastries. My pleasure. Now, if you don't mind, I need to make sure my buns don't burn. The canine said with a cheerful smile before turning his back at me and making his way into the ovens. With my hands full of treats, I made my way to a small table by the window, eager to dive into the feast before me. The first bite of the apple pie was everything that I had hoped for. The tartness of the apples balanced perfectly with the sweet buttery crust. It was like biting into a crunchy cloud filled with apples. I ended up eating it whole in 3 bites, unable to force myself to take smaller ones. But then, as I was about to move to the lab room, I heard a small bell by the door ringing happily as another client entered the establishment. I didn't give it much thought at first, being lost in the savory land and all. But when I heard that gruff and commanding voice, my body turned around on its own. Morning, Dellinger. There he was, tall and proud as always, wearing his shining armor and that huge sword strapped to his back. I froze in place. Was he here looking for me? Did something happen? By the goddesses, I just wanted to enjoy my day in peace. Morning, Captain. The usual? Yes, but put it in a bag. I'm in a hurry. I rubbed my eyes and cleaned my ears just in case that I was imagining things. Did Rodrick, big and scary Rodrick, just order something from a bakery? I mean, it's not like he can't, but I always imagine him eating rocks or something. Did he actually have a sweet tooth all along? Besides, did I just imagine it, or did Rodrick just order the usual? The canine baker, unfazed, nodded and disappeared into the back. Me, on the other hand, I stayed frozen on my table, the half-eaten labrum in front of me begging to be put out of its misery. I tried to lay low and blend with the rest of the crowd. I wouldn't want to make this an uncomfortable encounter, would I? Yeah, it's better if he doesn't even know that I'm here. I'll just finish. So that was your stench after all. I knew that I smelled something familiar. I turned slowly, my heart sinking as I saw Rodrick towering over me with his arms crossed, his expression as unreadable as ever. Hey, Rodrick. Fancy seeing you here. Want some? The wolf raised his eyebrow at me and the labrum that I had in my hand. I couldn't tell if he was disgusted by my proposal or simply annoyed. Or both. No, too sweet. Before I could reply to that, the baker approached us, handing Rodrick a neatly tied bag. Here you go, Captain, fresh as always. Rodrick grunted in approval, his serious demeanor never faltering. Is it my imagination or is the baker blushing? After that short interaction, the baker left us to ourselves, and Roderick's gaze returned to me. I, didn't know you liked bread. Again, the wolf raised an eyebrow at me, but this time he was more confused than anything. Everyone likes bread, Runt. Yeah, well, I guess you're right. It's just, I thought that because I am big and scary, I can't like bread. You're aware of how dumb that sounds, correct? I am now. Man, leave it to Rodrick to kill the mood in a second. There was a prolonged moment of silence, so long that I thought the wolf was done with the conversation. But instead of leaving, the man sat on a chair next to me, opening his bag and taking a bite out of one of the buns that were inside of it. He wasn't kidding. He does not like the sweet stuff after all. He was eating the plain buns. Pretty savorless, if you ask me. In any case, I watched in silence as Rodrick casually bit into his bun, still towering over the tiny table even while seated. The sight was almost surreal. A man who looked like he could snap a tree in half with his bare hands was munching on bread like it was no big deal. So... you come here often? I asked awkwardly, trying to fill the silence. Roderick's sharp eyes glanced up at me as he chewed. When I have the time. That was surprisingly normal of a response, all things considered. Was he actually trying to have a casual conversation? I like this place. It's reliable. Reliable? That's a word that I haven't heard being used to describe a bakery. Rodrick paused mid-chew, his brow furrowing slightly. He looked at me and then he looked up, as if he was thinking about what to say next. Well, you never know when you might need to stock up. So it's better to know where the good ones are. I blinked at him, unable to believe that we were actually having a conversation about bakeries. It all just felt so surreal. So with a newfound interest, I decided to keep the conversation going. Well, I guess it's good to know where to find reliable bread. I usually just follow my nose, though. You should think ahead more, Runt. Can't always rely on instinct. I can't help but wonder if this is Roderick's weird way of showing that he cares. Well, right. I'll work on that. Thanks for the tip. Rodrick finished his bun, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand before standing up. See that you do, Runt. Gotta go. Some of us actually have a job. I rolled my eyes at his parting words, but couldn't help smiling as he walked out. Maybe next time I will find him buying flowers or maybe a romance novel. After all, the wolf sure is a box full of surprises. Sitting under the trees always brings peace to my mind, no matter how agitated it is. No matter what sort of issues are going through my brain, nothing beats relaxing under the shade of a good old woody friend. Besides, I enjoy doing this when I'm alone. It's just me and the trees and nothing else matters. I let out a sigh as I look up into the branches and leaves of my so-called friend. As much as I wanted to lay back and sleep, last night I had one of those awful nightmares. Which is why I'm currently in this predicament once more. Being awake at the break of dawn, with nothing to do but drown myself in my own thoughts and sorrows. I was probably just being overdramatic. But my brain was fried. At least until now. As I was getting tired of doing nothing, believe it or not. So yet again, I'm presented with a choice. What should I do today? Again, I believe that this is a branching choice where you get to spend time with another one of the people, but since this is a Rodrick-centric playthrough, we're gonna go for Rodrick, basically. I think. Well, I guess the place is as good as any to take a stroll. I better get going, after all. It's not exactly a short distance from here. With that idea in mind, I stood up from the floor. My legs and back were a little sore, but nothing major. Goodbye, my friend. We shall meet again. As I said that out loud, I noticed how weird it would look if anyone had noticed me hugging a freaking tree. So not wanting to embarrass myself any longer, I just stepped away from the tree and started walking towards the castle gates. Damn. I'm weird. To be honest, I don't know what drove me here in the first place. Could it be the memories of my childhood? Maybe I spent most of my younger years either here or at Mr. Biscotti's shop. Although the former doesn't hold as many good memories as the latter. Mostly because I used to be a delinquent and a thief. And believe it or not, I really want nothing to do with that life anymore. It's given me enough headaches as it is. I'm sorry, sir. As I was lost in thought, I hardly noticed a little boy bumping into me. The boy was a young puppy, seemingly a collie. And apparently he was in a hurry, as he hardly acknowledged my existence, walking past me as fast as his tiny legs could carry him. At first I just brushed it aside. He was just a kid after all. However, the more that I thought about it, the more that it struck me as odd. I mean, why would a little boy be by himself in this dangerous side of town? I furiously searched my back pocket, looking for my coin purse and making sure that it was still there. That little shit. Damn pickpocket. I started to run towards the same direction as the little thief, but it was too late. I had given him too big of a head start, and I could no longer see him amongst the crowd. Luckily for me, it didn't take too long for another person to fall victim to this little scoundrel, as I heard a woman screaming in the distance. Thief! A crowd formed around the lady who kept on screaming her heart out, telling everyone to please get her purse back. Keeping my eyes peeled, I scanned the surroundings. I knew pretty well that looking for a thief in the crowd was a waste of time. Chances are that he's already vanished from under their noses. I'd been in his shoes once, so I know all the tricks, how to disappear under the crowd, weave between legs, and vanish into thin air. Which makes me think. I look around, searching for any small alleyways or gaps a kid could fit into. The people that were running around like headless chickens were not helping one bit, but I knew that if I found where he had gone to, I still had a chance to get my purse back. And maybe the ladies. But where did the little thief go? Where would I go if it were me doing the robbing? As that thought crosses my mind, I saw it. Just a few steps away from the yelling lady, there was an open lid that led to the city's sewer system. Of course, why didn't I think of that? It's stinky as fuck, but it gets the job done. I've personally used them as an escape route countless times. Now I just needed a trace to follow him. But what? Before I could finish that thought, my eyes landed on a big, puffy white object. The old lady's wig was the answer I was looking for, as it was most likely impregnated with her perfume. Same as her purse. A smell that would lead me straight to the thief, and hence my coin. Without any further hesitation, I dashed through the crowd. With a swift motion, I snapped the old hag's wig off her head. She screamed, "Thief, thief, will somebody do something?" as she tried to cover her real hair with both of her hands. But just like that kid before me, I vanished into the sewer in a matter of seconds. Yep, I still had the touch. The stench hit me like a punch to the face the moment that I dropped into the sewer. It was as bad as I remembered, worse even. I pushed through though, holding the old woman's wig in front of me like a flag. It was a bit ridiculous, but the overpowering smell of the perfume was the only lead that I had to finding the young thief. The heavy floral scent of her perfume clung to the wig, and luckily for me, I could already smell a few faint traces in the tunnel. So like a good canine would, I decided to follow my nose. The sounds of the bustling harbors above faded, replaced by the echoes of footsteps and the slow drip of water in the sewers. As I delved deeper, the scent grew stronger, leading me down a narrow path, then to a darker corner where the shadows shifted just slightly. Up ahead, there was a sort of makeshift shelter, made with wobbly-looking sticks and a few run-down clothes. Inside of the den, there were some hay bales joined together that were working as beds. There were two. "There you go. You're doing a great job, big bro." I hid behind the corner as I heard the voices of the little kid. He was turning a corner opposite of where I was. And he wasn't alone. He was helping an older version of himself move around in the difficult terrain. The other collie's legs seemed to be busted beyond repair, its left foot looking sideways instead of forward. It was completely broken. "Thank you," said the big brother as his younger sibling helped him to sit on top of the hay bales. I felt a knot forming in my throat as I watched the scene unfold. These two kids were living in the sewers by themselves, no adult to look after them, and no proper bed to rest on. Aside from that, the older sibling was unable to move around properly. It's probably why the younger one had to resort to pickpocketing. "Look, big bro, I scored big today. A few suckers didn't even notice that I had taken their stuff." The puppy turned a bag upside down, and soon enough a bunch of stolen objects fell from it. Coins of all kinds, jewelry, and yes, among all the stolen purses, mine was right there. The little thief crouched down, rummaging through the stolen goods. They hadn't noticed me yet, as they were too focused on what they thought was a clean getaway. Man, what do I do? I feel really bad now. How can I blame these kids for stealing my belongings when their situation is so dire? Still, my entire allowance is in that purse, so I should at least try to get it back. "Hey, are you both okay?" I said while stepping out of the shadows. The younger kid jolted, whipping his head around in a panic. His eyes went wide as he saw me holding the wig. Meanwhile, the older one looked between me, the stolen goods, and his brother multiple times. He was probably weighing his options, given the situation. What? I'm not gonna harm you. I don't want any trouble, okay? What do you want? The older sibling tried to stand up, but he soon lost his balance and ended up face first on the floor. "Big bro!" The younger collie reached his brother's side, helping him back onto his feet. Man, my heart can't take much more of this. "Kid, what happened to you?" I said, trying to sound calm and comforting, but the two of them were too on edge to notice that. "Why do you care? Just leave us alone." "Look, I want to help, so please, tell me what happened." "Liar, liar, all adults lie, go away." I raised my hands in surrender, keeping my voice low and calm, hoping to look as unthreatening as possible. "I'm not lying, I promise. That purse is mine, that one right there, remember? You took it from me and I followed you, that's all that I did. But now, even though I want it back, I haven't taken it from you, have I?" "No." "Yeah, exactly. Look, kids, I really want to help you with your situation, but you'll need to trust me first, got it?" After my little discourse, the two collie puppies seemed a little less on edge. The younger brother still clutched to his older sibling, eyes darting around as if looking for a way out. He was clearly the less trusting of the two. I know things are rough for you guys, but living down here, stealing, it's only going to get you into more trouble. Let me help. Help? The older brother spat, struggling to stand still even with his brother's help. We don't need help from someone like you. We've been fine on our own. I shook my head, glancing at his busted leg. That leg says otherwise. How long do you think that you can last like this? How long until your little brother gets caught and you die down here? The youngster's grip on his brother tightened, and the older one winced in pain. I could see the battle in his eyes. He didn't want to admit it, but he knew that I had a point. No help from an adult, big bro. You promised that we wouldn't trust them anymore, not after what they did to your leg. My eyes opened wide as plates, unable to believe someone would dare do something like this to a kid. A grown-up did this to you? Yes, a guard. Our parents died in a fire, and we were left with nothing, so I started stealing to survive. That's when I got caught, and that bastard broke my leg. According to him, he was setting an example for the others. The older sibling clenched his fist as he bit his lower lip, clearly frustrated and angry at the unjust situation. Well, believe it or not, my head was almost chopped off by guards too. So I can understand what it feels like to get caught by one of them. And how did you get out? Well, I was lucky enough for a kind man to take pity on me, sparing my life. Memories of those events still linger in my brain very vividly. Personally, I will never forget the massive beatdown Rodrick gave me that day. Talking about Rodrick, maybe he can help me with the situation. He's got connections and he's the captain of the Royal Guards. So if I tell him one of his men did this to this poor kid, it's highly likely that he'll take responsibility. Hey, by the way, buddies, what are your names? The older sibling hesitated for a moment, glancing down at his injured leg before answering. Kian. Mika. Well, Kian and Mika, nice to meet you both. My name is Ehlly Biscotti. Will you both offer me a chance to help you? Can you trust me to do that? Why? Why would you want to help us? What's in it for you? Kian's eyes narrowed, skepticism clear. I sighed, glancing up at the small pile of stolen goods that Luca had dumped earlier. I used to be like you, Kian, running around stealing from others without thinking about the consequences. The only difference between us is that I got offered a second chance, and you both haven't. So I'm offering you the same thing. No strings attached. I just don't want to be the monster that left two children to rot in the sewers. It wouldn't feel right. I crouched down to their eye level, trying to smile as gently as I could, wishing for these two tortured children to open their hearts to a complete stranger. I knew that it wasn't going to be an easy thing, as they probably haven't been given any kindness since their parents died, but I was willing to try. How? How would you help my big bro? Little Mika, the brother who had been the most reserved the entire time, had finally opened himself up to my words. I will take you both to see a very good friend of mine. He's a guard, but I promise you that he's one of the good ones. No way, all guards are the same. They're rude, aggressive, and cruel. I don't trust guards. You know, I used to think the same. For me, they were all monsters in shining armor. But then I met this guy named Rodrick. At first, I really disliked him. I thought that he was a total jackass. But soon, I started to notice that he was unlike the others. He's strict, sure, but he doesn't tolerate injustice. He's kind in his own way, and he cares a great deal about people's safety. He has a very rough exterior, but he's funny when he wants to be, even sarcastic sometimes. And I don't know how to explain it, but you just feel safe when you're close to him. Before I could notice what I was saying, my cheeks had already turned a little red from just thinking about the night. The two kids looked at me with a confused expression, but I brushed it off as if it were nothing. My point is, if I tell him what happened to you, he'll listen. I'm sure that he will be willing to help the both of you, and maybe even bring the bastard who did this to you to justice. So, what do you say? Will you come with me? There was a long silence as the brothers processed my words. Kian looked at Mika, whose grip on his hand had loosened, but who still stood close by, eyes darting between me and his older brother. What if he doesn't want to help us? Kian asked quietly, the idea clearly starting to grow on him. He will. I know him well enough to know so. Kian's eyes softened just a bit, the pain and exhaustion of living in the sewers clearly weighing on him. After a moment, he let out a heavy breath. Fine, but if you're lying and this Rodrick guy is like the others... He's not, I promise. Now come, let me carry you, yeah? Okay. Mika still looked unconvinced, but he didn't say anything as I lifted Kian off the ground, carrying him as we made our way towards the exit of the sewers. I just hoped that Rodrick would be in a helpful mood when I brought this to him. I was betting everything on him. That's quite the tale, Runt. Are you sure about the legitimacy of these kids' story? Rodrick, why would they break their own leg and then live in the sewers? Of course I believe them, don't you? There was a pause. The big wolf looked into the distance, letting his eyes linger on the two children who were resting comfortably under the roof of a house. I had found the knight patrolling the streets of the lower city. Luckily, he's easy to track down. You just have to ask any guard where the captain is and tell them that it's the king's business. Roderick's arms were crossed over his chest, and I could see the gears turning in his head, weighing the situation. I knew the wolf wasn't one to take things at face value, but even he had to admit the kids didn't seem like they were making it up. I don't doubt their story. On the contrary, I think you did the right thing for once by bringing them here. Still, I can't just toss accusations around and expect that the culprit will turn themselves in. Rodrick, I said, stepping closer to him, my heart beating faster than the anger that was starting to build up inside of it. They're just kids, and they've been through enough already. If we don't do something, who will? Rodrick let out a sigh, his gaze still fixed on the kids. Then his gaze turned to me, his eyes narrowing slightly. Fine, I will look into it, but if they're lying, you'll be the one answering to me. Really? Oh my goddesses, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Before the man could complain about it, I hugged him as hard as I could. Even if I tried to squeeze him tight though, my arms wouldn't reach all the way around his massive frame. Still, try I might. Thanks, Rodrick. I knew that I could count on you. He grunted in response to that, but weirdly enough, he didn't break off the hug. He decided to just endure it silently, and I decided to take full advantage of this unique situation. Knock, knock, knock. The sound resonated through the entire room, forcing me to jolt awake from my sleep. Who could it be at this early in the morning? I thought to myself as I rolled around in bed, putting a pillow on my head in an attempt to quiet the knocking. Personally, whoever it was could wait. I hadn't had a good night's sleep in too long. The intensity of the knocking was getting louder and louder as I placed a second pillow on the top of my head, hoping that it would protect me from the sound. Oh, for fuck's sake, someone better be dying. Coming, I said as I rolled around in bed towards the edge of the bed, lowering my feet and sitting up. As my feet touched the cold stone floor, a single goosebump bristled all my fur. I remained in a seated position, trying to collect myself, as I was still a little groggy from just waking up. Rubbing my temples, I stood up from the bed and walked towards the door. I was wearing my underwear only, so let's hope that this visitor doesn't expect any decency. I grabbed the handle and opened the door far enough for just my snout to poke through. Yes? What is it? On the other side, I managed to see Rodrick tapping impatiently on the ground. The wolf's ears perked up at the sound of my voice. As he turned around, our eyes met for a split second. Morning, Runt. Hey. Morning. Do you need something? Rodrick huffed at the question, as if I had just said something so ridiculous that he could barely believe it. No, Runt. I just wanted to see your pretty face. I rolled my eyes at the sarcasm as a faint smile escaped his lips. Aren't you a dear? But really, what do you need? I need you to drop by the prison later this afternoon. Know how to get there? No. But I can ask. Why though? There is a situation. We've been trying to interrogate a prisoner, but he won't budge. I'm sure that you haven't forgotten about your paint-stealing friend. Oh shit, you must be talking about Hugo. I hadn't thought about him ever since... I probably shouldn't, but now I'm worried about that idiot. In any case, he told us that he would only talk to you, so I need your help. Why only me? Hell if I know, but this is his last chance. Okay, I'll see what I can do. Good, that's all that I ask. He nodded and then turned around, but before he left though, the wolf stopped in his tracks and looked at me over his shoulder. If he doesn't talk soon, we won't have any other choice but to execute him. Bear that in mind. And with that final warning, the man left for good. I then returned to the bed, although I decided to just lay there with my eyes open, as I wasn't feeling like sleeping anymore. Man, what a way to start my morning. Oh no, not again. I had just managed to fall asleep. Please go away. Whoever you are, leave. Master? It's me, Zach. Zach, please, I am very sleepy. Yes, of course, Master, but I wouldn't want to bother you if this wasn't important. May I please come in? You're not gonna leave no matter what I say, right? No? And then fine, come in. As I said that, I rolled out of the bed for the second time this morning, and once again I sat at the edge of it, with my feet gently touching the cold floor. The dog wasted no time pushing the door open and slipping inside, his tail wagging slowly and anxiously. His fur, normally sleek and well-groomed, was slightly ruffled, and his eyes, though bright, carried a hint of worry. Master, you really need to see this, Zach said, his voice urgent but respectful. He dropped an envelope onto my lap, then he started fidgeting as he waited for me to open it. A letter? Yes, Master. It's marked with the seal of Arcanus, and it's addressed personally to you. So, Ehlly sent this? As I noticed the dog's worried expression, I raised my eyebrow at him, slightly inquiring what was wrong. So, please don't be mad, but I may have read it and well, butlers are not really supposed to do that. But I promise that I will punish myself accordingly. It was a mere moment of weakness. Please forgive me. Oh? Is that all? That's what you were worried about? The dog's ears dropped as he looked down, his tail tucked between his legs. It was honestly adorable. Well, I'm not mad, so don't worry. And I'm not gonna let you punish yourself for something so silly. Zach's ears perked up slightly at my reassurance, though his tail remained tucked. He glanced up with a mix of relief and lingering anxiety. Really, Master? He asked, his voice almost tentative. Yes, really. Just don't do it again. But now that I know that you already read it, let's cut to the chase and just tell me what it says, okay? Zach's posture relaxed a bit and he shuffled closer, clearly eager to assist. Yes, of course, Master. The letter is an invitation to a formal reunion in the Royal Library. Apparently, Lord Ehlly is allowed to bring a +1, and he thought of you as his best option. Really? I'm literally the least fancy person that he knows. Besides another ball. Damn, I'm not sure if I'm feeling up for something like that. Well, he said that he would really appreciate your company, but I'm sure that he would understand if you don't feel like going. Yeah, you're probably right. Still, I would hate to disappoint him. Images of a sad Ehlly dancing by himself and being constantly bothered by his awful family made me feel terrible about even considering not going. Still, I wasn't sure if I was ready to go through an experience similar to last week's ball. Does it say when the reunion will take place? It appears to be set for today's evening, Master. So, you would most likely have to start getting ready before the sun sets entirely. I see. Around the same time Rodrick asked me to meet him. Well, let's not send him a proper response yet. I need to consider my options. As you wish, Master. I'll, leave you be for now. And with that said, the small dog left the room, making sure to close the door behind him. As the door clicked shut, I took a moment to sit quietly, the letter still resting on my lap. Well, maybe I shouldn't sleep any longer. The day went by faster than expected, and before I knew it, the sun was already setting in the horizon. Its light painted the sky shades of orange and pink, casting long shadows across the landscape. At the time, I was just relaxing under a tree as usual, trying not to think about my responsibilities or the fact that I would either have to go help in someone's interrogation or attend another high society social gathering. Both options I was clearly not looking forward to. So yeah, as you probably guessed, I was just stalling the inevitable. However, before I could make up my mind, I noticed a certain wolf sitting by himself at the top of the tower. I knew Allman was good at climbing, but damn, he got some heavy balls to be chilling in such a high place. The idea alone was enough to send a chill down my spine. What a crazy idiot. Although the more that I looked at him, the more it seemed like his head was tucked in between his legs. Was he crying, perhaps? I mean, obviously I couldn't hear him from where I was, but it certainly gave me that impression. I rubbed my eyes trying to make sense of what I was seeing. It was unusual for Allman to seek solace so openly, especially considering the many fun places that he could go to. Besides, I couldn't recall ever seeing him like this. He was often so happy and carefree, so I couldn't help but wonder if he needed someone to talk to. In any case, I wasn't sure I even had the time to talk to the wolf right now. I had 2 other compromises in only one of me. So a decision needed to be made, and a fast. I was running out of time. Who should I spend my afternoon with? So again, there is a bit of a split in the route. Ehlly would be this ball thing at the library, Rodrick is the interrogation, and Allman is whatever it is that Allman is doing. And considering I'm reading Rodrick first before everyone else, I don't know what really happens here or here. So yeah. So to Rodrick we go, because this is a Rodrick route. Perhaps it's not the best idea to keep the knight waiting. After all, he told me this interrogation would be really important. A life may be in my hands, and I don't want to feel guilty for that loss. So yeah, I'm sorry, Almond. I'm sorry, Ehlly. You'll have to understand. The prison cells were located in a separate building inside of the royal castle. Still, I had to walk for a few minutes and ask for directions to get there. Once I got there, though, I was met by a structure completely made out of gray and brownish stone. A huge difference from the white bricks and marble that the main castle was made of. I could not see the interior quite well, as the windows were very small and most of them had iron bars welded over them. Besides, even if I squinted my eyes, I could hardly see a thing past those bars, as the darkness of the interior was as deep as the abyss. In any case, I decided to approach the entrance promptly, not wanting to remain outside any longer. However, as I was going in, 2 guards eyed me with suspicion, but they didn't say anything, just nodded as if they had been expecting me. I hurried inside, my feet echoing against the stone floors and the heavy iron gates creaking open. But as they closed, a quick thought crossed my mind. What the fuck was I getting myself into? The inside of the building was not much different from the outside. There were many rows of cells, one in front of the other in lines. The only light source were the torches, the previously mentioned windows, and gaping holes in the ceiling which gave a perfect view of the moon. Anxiety started to nest in my brain as I wondered where the wolf could be. Maybe I should... Oh, brother, nice to see you again. Without me noticing, a man had sneaked behind me, taking me by surprise. I jumped at the sound of his voice, then slowly turned around to meet them. Although, who I saw was not exactly a pleasant sight. Eddie? What are you... doing here? I'm working, brother. Not that I expected you to know what that is. Yep, this is Eddie, all right. Still as sour as ever. In any case, please follow me. The captain is waiting. Without saying another word, the wild dog turned his back at me and started to go down a flight of stairs that was nearby. I reluctantly followed him, making sure to keep a distance as I didn't want to be too close to the guy. We walked roughly for 10 minutes, to the point where I couldn't tell where the exit was anymore. The man didn't say a word, which I personally appreciated, as it gave me the chance to inspect the dungeons. People inside the cells were completely covered in darkness, making it almost impossible to see them. I just knew that they were there because I could hear them. Luckily for me, as he crossed to the left one last time, I managed to see Rodrick's tall frame in the distance. He was waiting with his arms crossed and a scowl that could cut through steel. He tapped his foot, his impatience clear as day. Captain, I brought Sir Ehlly as you requested. Eddie announced proudly, saluting his captain as if it was normal protocol among the knights. Meanwhile, Rodrick just grunted and nodded, not even taking a moment to look at the boy. You're free to go. Yes, sir. And as simple as that, Eddie vanished back into the darkness, not sparing a single word or even a single look. About time, runt. Rodrick grumbled, his sharp eyes scanning me up and down, lingering a moment longer on my disheveled state. Something wrong? No, it's nothing. This place just gives me the heebie-jeebies. Ehlly? Is that you? Out of the darkness of the cell, a man rushed to the bar, grabbing them tightly with both of his hands. The man in question was Hugo, leader of my former gang and past. Never mind that. Please, White. You gotta get me out of here, man. This place is horrible. I can't sleep. I can't eat. It's like I'm trapped in a nightmare. Silence. Rodrick roared, making Hugo shut up in the spot. I could even swear that I saw the wall bricks shifting in place. You're here because you refuse to give us answers. Fuck you, old man. I ain't fucking talking. As an act of defiance, Hugo flipped his finger at the wolf and then returned to the darkness from where he had come. Rodrick rubbed his temples and sighed, clearly tired of the situation. Look, Runt. This guy has stolen way too many things from way too many important people. We know that because many old reports link him to those crimes. I told him multiple times that his life would be spared if he returned the stolen goods. But he's refused to cooperate. And you want me to... make him talk. He asked specifically for you after all. Use any methods you see fit. Okay, I'll try. Good. The wolf leaned against the wall, crossing his arms and looking over me with a solemn expression, as he usually does. I, on the other hand, decided to sit in front of the cell door. Hey, Red, I'm here. At first, there was only silence, but after a few seconds, Hugo spoke up. Tell that fucker to leave. I'm not saying shit unless we're alone. I looked up to meet Rodrick's gaze, using my best pleading eyes to silently ask him to leave. He sighed, stepping away from the wall and looking down at me with a concerned expression. I'll be back in 10 minutes. He said, then turned around and vanished inside the darkness, just like Eddie before him. Okay, Red, we're alone. We can talk now. Hugo's face slowly emerged from the shadows, the dim torchlight casting eerie flickers across his handsome features. His eyes started around nervously, clearly distrustful of the place, but as they landed on me, his dry lips turned into a smile. Thank you for coming, White. I didn't think that you'd actually show up. Hugo muttered, his voice hoarse, as if he hadn't drunk any water in days. Yeah, well, I'm here now. I replied, keeping my tone neutral, trying my hardest to not let him see how much this presence was affecting me. Why haven't you talked to them? They're going to kill you. Don't you think that I know that? I would if I could, but I can't. Why? What happened? Why? I don't have a coin to my name. All those stolen goods are gone. Huh? How? I thought you were saving up to leave the city. I am. Was. But then this guy showed up and told us that he would help us go big, and I lost everything. He stole from you? Every address. Goddesses, Hugo. How can you be so stupid? You were played. Again. Shh. Keep it down, White. I sighed, leaning back a little, unsure of how to fix this man's stupid mistakes. You should still tell them. Come clean. Then what? They'll kill me once they know that I don't have their shit. White, please. You have to help me. Hugo's pleading eyes and defeated expression was making it hard for me to keep a cool exterior. After all, this idiot always had that effect on me. If you didn't plan on cooperating, why did you drag me into this? Hugo's eyes met mine, and for a split second, I saw the same person that I used to know. Cunning, clever, and always knowing a way out. You're my way out, White. Or, more specifically, that. The husky pointed at the golden ring that held together my cloak. I can turn that into a picklock. Then, when they're not looking, I'll make my move and escape. Unbelievable. You... He wants me to bust him out. The nerve of this man. After all the wrong that he's done, he still wanted me to help him break the law again? I felt flustered, but not because of the embarrassment or the shyness, but anger. Pure rage was bubbling up inside of me, ready to burst at this idiot in front of me and bash his face against those bars. How could you ask me that? You know that I work for the king. Precisely why I chose you, White. You are my inside man. In more ways than one. He tried to flirt, but I was so frustrated that I could hardly care less. If they find out that I helped you escape, all that I've worked for, they gave me a second chance. I'm not gonna throw it away like that. Come on, White. I'm begging you. Do it for me. Do it for old time's sake. The husky extended his hand and caressed my cheek. And I hate to admit it, but it felt nice. This tender gesture was more than enough to break down my defenses. Like always, He knew just what to do and say to make me dance to his tune. Was I really such a bad boyfriend? A bad lover? Did you really not enjoy a single moment? Those nights together, doing it under the stars? I remember it as if it were just yesterday. And I miss it dearly, White. So please, help me out one last time. Hugo's words hit me like a punch to the gut, stirring up emotions that I thought that I'd buried long ago. My heart was racing, but I still tried my best to keep my face neutral, refusing to let him see the effect that his words were having on me. He was playing with my emotions, using my memories against me, just like he always did. I broke eye contact with him, trying to steady my breathing. Hugo, that was a long time ago. Things have changed. I have changed. Have you really? Because to me, you still look like the same White that I knew. Only now, your life is in my hands. It's always been White. I always gave my life to you. You were my everything. I love you. I clenched my fists, trying to hold on to my anger, the sense of betrayal that had built up over the years. This man knew exactly how to dig under my skin, how to make me question everything. You don't get it, do you? I'm not that person anymore. I'm trying my best to get out of that life, to get away from you, from all the lies and chaos. Hugo's face fell, his expression shifting from hopeful to desperate. I know, White, I know. But I don't have anyone else. You were the only one who ever really cared about me, even when I didn't deserve it. I messed up, and I'm sorry, but please, help me, White. One last time, I'm begging you. If what we hadn't been anything for you, please. His words tugged at something deep inside of me. The memories of us, of the small bond that we had, were stronger than I wanted to admit. What we had meant everything to me. I said, finally deciding to be honest with myself. Tears formed at the corners of my eyes, threatening to drop at any second. I loved you. You were my first love. After years of searching for my little sister to no avail, you showed me that there were other possibilities. You made me think that it was better to leave the past be the past. I even considered running away with you. I wanted to throw it all away for you. But you were just using me. But then just like that, when things got ugly, you just left me. You know how I felt that day? The day that I was in the cell similar to this and you never came for me? If it hadn't been for Mr. Biscotti, I would have rotted in there. Hugo's eyes widened, and for a moment I saw a flicker of guilt cross his face. It was rare for him to show any remorse, but hearing me pour my heart out like that seemed to strike something deep within him. Why, I'm sorry. No, you're not, Hugo. You left me. You left me to fend for myself in that cell while you ran off and saved your own fur. You didn't even try. I let out a bitter laugh, wiping away the tears from my cheeks. Meanwhile, the husky didn't say a single word, unable to come up with any excuse for what he did to me. That was when I decided to stand up from the ground, ready to leave him and never come back. I regret it every single day, I swear. White, it's not too late. We can still be together. I will be the man that you want me to be, just please. Give me another chance. I looked away, my emotions swirling in a storm of anger, hurt, and something that I hate to admit, pity. Despite everything, it was a part of me that still cared, even though I knew that I shouldn't. But at the same time, there was a part of me begging me to move on, which was screaming at the back of my brain to leave as fast as possible. No, I won't do it. I won't help you escape. White, please, I won't let them kill you either. Even though you hurt me, there is a part of me that still cares. So, you'll tell them everything. You will tell Rodrick how you lost the goods, and that you're very sorry. You will tell him that you're ready to repent, and that you'll work hard for the king's forgiveness. What happens after that, it'll be up to Rodrick to decide. But I won't let him kill you. That I promise you. But after I do this for you, we're done. I'm taking you out of my life, Hugo. Goodbye. As I turned around, I felt my heart breaking into pieces. My eyes were crying tears of sorrow, but also tears of relief. Wait, there's still a chance for us. Don't leave me here. I tried my best at holding back the tears as I backed away from the cell, although at that point I was unable to contain my emotions. How can he be so selfish, so self-absorbed, and why the hell do I feel guilty? It makes no sense. None whatsoever. I knew that there was no use thinking about it, but my emotions and inner thoughts were eating me alive, holding me under a constant sense of dread and sadness. All I wanted to do right now was to reach my room, bury my face on a pillow, and scream out loud. Fuck it, I might even do it without the pillow. However, as I turned the corner to head upstairs, I was met by the huge frame of a certain knight who was leaning against the wall with his arms crossed. His eyes flickered as he saw me walk in, but he remained quiet, simply scanning me from top to bottom. Well, it's done, I said, looking away from him, not daring to meet his gaze. Last thing that I wanted was to start crying in front of the knight. Nonetheless, the wolf never averted his eyes, as if trying to figure out my inner thoughts by simply looking. You did the right thing, Runt, he finally said, stepping away from the wall and closing the distance between us. I froze at Rodrick's words, my heart still pounding from the emotional weight of my conversation with Hugo. What did he mean? Was he eavesdropping? If he was, then he knows. He knows everything. What? What do you mean? Were you listening? Never left. Well, I guess the cat is out of the bag. Now the knight knows everything about my relationship with Hugo. You did the right thing, he repeated, his tone steady but caring at the same time. This time, he was talking less like his usual self, and more like someone who had been there. Well, it doesn't feel like it. I kept it to myself, hugging my arms tightly and looking away. I just wished to end the conversation as soon as possible. Besides, this wasn't any of his business, so why? Why was he insisting on being nice? It's not like he's particularly good at being nice anyway. No, you know deep down it was. Yeah, sure, whatever. Once those words left my mouth, I felt like the whole room was closing in on me, trapping me inside with no way to run away. Hugo's words echoed in me, dragging me through places that I hadn't let anyone near in years. I felt scraped out, hollowed by words that didn't bruise the skin but still left something bleeding. Rodrick shifted his weight, the sound of his armor filled the space between us. He walked closer to me, closing the gap between us, and then... Before I could notice, my back was against the wall and the knight's massive frame was looming over me. This is not your fault, Rodrick said again, his voice calm and sweet, something unusual coming from him. Yeah, I know. Bastard deserved it, right? I looked away, trying to shield myself from the knight's piercing gaze. Ehlly, look at me. This is not your fault. I wanted to do as he said. I really did, but there was something keeping my eyes glued to the ground. Was it shame, sadness, or perhaps something else? I didn't know anymore. Yeah. I know it wasn't. Then why can't you look at me? The knight was insistent, as if he wanted to prove a damn point again. But no, not this time. I did not want to listen to another one of his sermons. Rodrick, stop it. I just want to go. This is not your fault, Ehlly. All those things he said, none of them are you. I know. Don't you think that I know that? Just fucking let it go, okay? I tried to push him away, but Rodrick didn't flinch, standing his ground like he usually does. The silence that followed felt like a punishment. His or mine, I couldn't tell. My breathing had turned shallow, uneven. I didn't want to cry. Goddesses, I didn't want to cry in front of him. Stop it, Rodrick. I don't want your pity. Who says that I pity you? I would if you had done anything different, but you didn't. You did the right thing. Another long pause. His eyes were piercing holes through my skull, and I couldn't help but feel vulnerable and small. Well, it doesn't feel right. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I told myself that I didn't care, but I do. I fucking do. Rodrick stayed quiet, letting me speak without interruption. My life had changed so much lately. No, who am I kidding? My life has been all over the place since I was a little kid. And I always try to make it right. I try and try, but no matter what I do, I always find a way to screw things up. I'm tired. I'm so fucking tired of pretending. Tired of walking around like nothing's wrong. Just keep going forward. Everything has a solution, right? Well, it doesn't feel like it. Rodrick didn't move. The wolf just stood there, quiet and steady, like always. It pissed me off how grounded he seemed, like nothing could shake him. I hated it. I ran a hand through my hair, fingers trembling. The rage and angst boiling inside of me were making it hard to think straight at this point. I'm not like you. I muttered under my breath, voice cracking halfway. I can't walk around like everything makes sense. I can't stop myself from doubting every step that I take. Maybe. But you've changed. You're not the same person that I met. You may not want to believe it, but you're doing things right. And this is not your fault. I'm barely standing. Barely still counts. Those words that he said, perhaps simple in nature, were just what I needed to hear. My body leaned forward by itself, breaking down as soon as I touched his shoulder, my head hanging low and my eyes crying rivers. My silly little act of strength broke down in the blink of an eye. Rodrick didn't say or do anything at first. He just stood there like a rock. However, that's just what I needed right now, a solid rock to stand on. My pathetic little whimpers echoed throughout the entire dungeon, resonating and bouncing on the dark stone walls. Hopefully, whoever hears me thinks someone is being tortured. The seconds turned into a full minute, but before I could pull away, his heavy and warm hand landed gently on the back of my head, pulling me just a little closer. Not forcefully, just enough to let me know that he was there. And for the first time in my life, I was happy that he was. Everything is going to be okay. Man, call me crazy, but I believe him. And that's it for now. I know you wanted more, but for now, that's all that I had to show you. Things are developing nicely, don't you think? The boys seem to be more closer to Ehlly, and each one of them has a different way of showing it. And that's why I love to write them. They are each so different, which in turn makes their stories unique. However, that also makes each of their personal problems more complex and intimate, and I want to give each of them the time and care that they deserve as their arcs unfold. Aside from that, I want to say that I am truly sorry for taking almost a year to publish this update. To be honest, there were moments in which I thought that it would never come out. Moments in which I got so overwhelmed by my day-to-day life that I actually considered dropping the project altogether. University, finding a part-time job, and learning to handle my own expenses have all been a huge changes in my life. Changes that have taken a lot of time, energy, and emotional space. Still, even when I felt like letting go, the story and you guys were always there, waiting for me. In many ways, it has become a shield, something that helped me cope with the chaos of adult life. It reminds me of who I am and what I love, and what I want to keep building, even when things get hard. Thank you for your patience, your kindness, and for sticking with me all this time. Every comment, every bit of encouragement, every silent read, it all means the world to me. Also, many thanks to the wonderful people that decided to give me their time. After years of developing the game alone, I finally found a team that I trust. It's thanks to them that the process of making Heart of Amethyst has become more manageable for me, so thank you kindly for that. Oh, also, I'm back to making my own CGs, and I tried my best to learn proper drawing and painting techniques to make these scenes look as special as possible. I really hope that you like them. Last but not least, to my loyal Patreons, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Without your constant support, this project and my career as a creator would be nothing more than a dream. However, with you helping me out, this is actually becoming a reality. I'm so sorry for the months in which I published nothing though. I'll try to apply myself more so that I can be consistent with the publications. And well, I think that's all that I wanted to say. If you're interested in supporting me on this project, please consider joining my Patreon. Or if you just want to stay tuned with everything that's related to Heart of Amethyst, maybe follow me on Twitter or join the Discord server. Whatever you decide to do, as long as you're here, that's the most important part. The story is growing with me, and I'm so grateful to have you all on the journey. Please have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye! I should have him read one of the outros once. Anyways, so sticking with Rodrick specifically. I kind of find it that it was nice that it kind of cohesively rolled nicely that I mean maybe not the bakery part, but like with finding the orphaned kids and then this scene, it kind of rolls nicely as like a Rodrick-centric thing where you can see Ehlly and him, how their development is progressing together. Ehlly trusting Rodrick, seeing him as like a good person, a noble person, a trustworthy person, and somebody that if he genuinely needs help, that he knows that he can trust Rodrick out of all people. Even though Rodrick is the one that originally wanted to cut off his head, he knows now that Rodrick is not somebody that that would ever betray him or something like that, you know? And then at the end of the scene where you saw him comforting Ehlly, you see that he genuinely cares about Ehlly. And he also, like, he sees his growth too. He was helping him see the worth of Ehlly, I guess. So yeah, it was nice. I like this update. It was long, but I liked it. Probably gonna cut off some pieces that it shares with the other ones and then just copy and paste it when I read the other ones. I wonder if they're gonna have the same sort of emotional thing for Ehlly and Almond. I mean, I'm pretty sure they will, but like, yeah. What else? I'm interested to see if we will see like a resolution for the two kids' like what happened to them. Like Rodrick will eventually come to Ehlly and say like, hey, remember the kids that you found in the sewer? I found who did it, I punished him, and we have found some help for the kid with a twisted foot, and he'll be able to walk, maybe, or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. I think it was a little too nice for saving Hugo, but like I get it. Like it's like I still have feelings for you, which prevent me from just leaving you to rot and eventually die. So I'm gonna do what is in my power to prevent you from dying, but I want you to know that this is the last thing that I'm ever gonna do for you. So like, Good on you, Ehlly. You did the right thing. As Rodrick said, you did the right thing. Anywho, so yeah, what are your thoughts? Write it down in the comments, and thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to stay up to date with the Heart of Amethyst or whatever is going on with it, you can do so by going down to the link in the description, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download the game and play it. It should also have links for like their Discord and like the social networks. And like they said, they do have a Patreon, so in case you want to support the project, you can do so by going down to the other link for the Patreon. If I recall correctly, Jaden did say that now that he has a team, he is able to get back into the story now fully. So the updates will actually be more frequent. So you won't have to be waiting a year anymore, just a few months, you know, because he is still busy. But yeah, so yay, more Heart of Amethyst. What else? Oh, in case you want to become a channel member, you can do so by... You should probably see the link underneath the videos if you're on mobile or desktop. If you're watching this on your TV or anywhere else, then I don't know if they show up on there. So yeah. But there should be a link in the description to become a channel member. It does help support the channel. You don't have to, but you know, you get to watch these videos a little bit ahead of time as they're being scheduled. Also, if you want to support through other means, there is Ko-fi. Also there's Throne. You know, there's stuff on there in case, you know, you feel generous. Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, so I guess that's it for now, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.